Good evening, Rush Nation. I hope you all having a
Evening.
wonderful time. Welcome to the 5 Yard Rush NFL podcast. I'm your host, the Hat Rack with a Heart for Gold, the Joel Hewitt. I'm joined, as usual, by the other one, Alex Can't See the Woods for the Trees, and the off-season champion, Pete the Pete Melia. How the devil are we doing, boyos?
Fantastic. Really good.
That's the
Football's
first time I
back.
nailed the intro. 5 weeks in, we did it. Have we had a good time? Football is back. I'm sure everyone's heard that on all of their more legitimate podcasts over the past 48 hours, 24 hours, whatever that may be. But feels good. Feels good. Well done to the pair of you, by the way. I've not put this in the notes, but we managed to fill in 4 weeks of absolutely nothing going on with just all sorts of nonsense and hot takes. So well played, fellas. But yeah, let's kick it off. Oh, I tell you what, before we do, let's just give a quick shout out to anybody that's signed up to the Discord. We don't have like a fan base name. We don't have like Swifties or anything like that. But if anyone wants to come up with one and spam the Discord with links to watch us live, then we do very much appreciate it. But anyway, let's kick off. We're going to start simple today, mainly because I want to gloat a little bit. What in week one were we oh so right and oh so wrong about? I think I would just like to start with how wrong I was first, and then we'll work our way through. Boy, I had the Colts going 0-17, and I genuinely was like watching pundits and all sorts of people predicting who was going to win it, and everyone was going, "Gosh, these Colts are looking good," and like McAfee was dumbfounded by the spread that the Colts weren't favorite in that. And that, me, I like to disagree with Pat McAfee wherever I can. I find him entertaining, but I don't respect his opinion at all. And he was a Colt, so he's bound to like the Colts. But yeah, Pete's favorite player, Danny Dimes, just came out there and Danny Dimed all over the place, didn't he? Did anybody catch the misery that was them versus the Dolphins?
Yeah, he was a monster. I think passer rating of 119. He looked outrageously good, and I don't know whether it's that he was good or that his wide receivers were so open that they could have knitted a jumper between snap and catching the ball. They just had so much time, and it obviously helps. It helps. It was good scheming, and I don't think he's got a super talented core, but what he's got, Tyler Warren looked every bit as advertised, and his weapons looked really, really good. He didn't really put a foot wrong all the way through, Danny. I thought they were really, really good. I was shocked at how well they were.
And did I see that? I don't know if this was just people on Blue Sky being funny, but did I see that Tua's passer rating was like 2.79? Is that true?
It sounds about right, to be honest.
I know. Well, it's when it just sounds believable enough, and you're like, I could see it. That he had 2.79 written all over him. So we don't have a fact checker, but if we did, I'm sure they'll be looking into it for me to correct.
It was 2.7. It was officially 2.7. Yes.
There we go. So we're rounding down. Alex, hit me. What were you oh so right or oh so wrong about this week?
I'll go with wrong. I'll hold my hands up. I was wrong about the Rams.
Okay.
I said that they would implode against this team, and they would be absolutely terrible, and that they wouldn't do it, and that nothing would work. But I tell you, that defense is legit. That defense is scary. The front four that they did yesterday was absolutely amazing. Yes, it might have been the second worst game of the week. Rams Texans. It was not good. But Stafford looked like Matthew Stafford. Puka Nacua was still great. And obviously the highlight of the game was Matthew Stafford getting 60,000 career yards. Just the fifth QB in history to do it.
That's crazy. Like only 5 people to ever walk this planet has done that. That's ungodly. Like the billions of people in this world.
He's the second quickest to do it. And a little quiz for you guys. Who was the first?
for 60,000.
60,000.
I always want to answer the sheriff, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, because he was doing in sections early doors because it'll be Manning, Brady, Breeze, Rodgers. Is it
You gonna land
Breeze?
on anything there, Pete?
It is.
Yes.
Drew Brees.
I love that I got that and you didn't, Joe. That makes me very happy.
I don't know all of his stats off by heart, but you know what? Welcome to next week's segment, which is just going to be Drew Brees facts. It's going to bring you one little Drew Brees fact a week. There, that's very much.
Yeah. So to all the Rams fans, I apologise. I was very, very wrong. You probably will win 9 games this season and make the playoffs.
What a 9 games they'll be.
What a great 9 games there will be. You will have great defensive performances, and it will be really, really, really boring stuff. If you score 21 points this season, great stuff, because I'm not sure it's going to happen often.
Pete, what were you right or wrong about?
I was right. I said the Lions were going to lose to the Packers, and the whole narrative would be they've lost too many pieces. And
I saw the term, what is it, like brain drain or something like that, where you lose all of your coaches. I was listening to Heath call earlier.
Yeah, and to be fair, it looked like that. They were unimaginative on offense, and it looked like they were really missing Ben Johnson. I don't think it will carry on as bad as it did. I just think that Packers defense is really, really good. And they've got a get-right game next week because they're playing the Bears. So that'll help them, I think. But it's exactly how it went. I think they'll be fine. It was worse than I was expecting. But I knew that they weren't going to blame it to just bad play on the players. It was all coaching. It's the fault of the people that aren't there was the reason that they lost.
I had this down as a this is the reason that I did this segment, because I am so right. The Lions are exactly the Lions I thought they were going to be. I've put here, they looked like the 2010s Lions, which does mean that come Thanksgiving, everyone gets to share the Family Guy gif of Brian, like, oh, shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a game? You know, like that's they're exactly it. And look, I bought into the hype because of like the Hard Knocks and Dan Campbell and the way that everything kind of like panned out. But I've got only Green Bay from that division going to the playoffs, and I've got Green Bay all the way to the Super Bowl. There was nothing that the Lions did that even made me slightly think, oh, that's the Lions of past. I don't understand. Well, I do understand how they got a little bit worse. Obviously, they've lost some coaching and whatnot, but the coaching doesn't leave with the coach. So I don't understand where, unless, somebody said, right, well, forget everything that you knew. Let's do something there. So yeah, the Lions were one of mine, but which I'm putting down as my right. But the other right one was for me the Kansas City concern. So we had 3 teams last week, and it was like, what team will people be concerned about after week 1? And immediately after Kansas City lost that first game, everyone was like, dynasty's over. Oh my God, it's not happening. So the Kansas City are now, this is where I start to pique my interest, because I'm that annoying, like, indie guy, like, oh, I liked them when they weren't very popular. I listened to the Kings of Leon first album. I didn't, but that's not the point. So Kansas City can honestly end up being the underdog, where I'm like, I'm going to root for the little guy. So let's see. Like, I might have gone a full 180 like heel turn on this one, but I hate dynasties. We lived through the Patriots for so long. I think it all boils back, if like we had to get my therapist out here, then it would be down to Michael Schumacher in the F1. He really did a number on me on making me disinterested in people winning all the time. Him and Man United, the 90s were, they were predictable, weren't they?
Yeah. And as a Spurs fan as well, when United finally
say that out loud. I'm a proud Scunthorpe United fan, I'll have you know. Don't call me a Spurs fan in front of the tens of people watching. Who else has been right or wrong about something? Alex, what else you got?
Baker Mayfield.
Here he is.
I was right about Baker Mayfield, and that is the only thing that I'm happy about. Like I said earlier on, I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, Baker Mayfield, ride or die when you were picking him for fantasy. He wouldn't have scored a mad amount of fantasy points this week, but be on the Baker train. That guy is awesome, absolutely incredible. It is the 6th time in his NFL career he led a game-winning drive.
Only 6.
6. If you think about it, that's mad. Like for Baker Mayfield to win, to lead a 6th winning game drive for his team in his entire career, that is actually incredible.
Spent a lot of time on the Browns, though, didn't he? So
yeah,
there weren't a lot of game-winning drives going on there. Like.
Yeah, he got to the playoffs though. That's the daft bit, isn't it? He got to the playoffs with Baker at QB. He had the record, the rookie record for touchdowns, was it, and all of that, and then. But Browns got a Brown, aren't they?
They are, yeah. I got that text from our friend Chris the second that the Browns did what the Browns do. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Baker Mayfield, a friend of mine is a Browns fan, legit. Hey, mate. When Baker got drafted, it's one of those where you want to support your friend's team, and I'm like, bless him, he's not had much hope. So when Baker got drafted, we all kind of like rallied around, and Baker's become kind of the unofficial mascot of our group chat. I think it just says "We are Baker fans" as the name of the chat. So it was bittersweet when he ended up going across to the Buccaneers for me. I don't get into the interdivisional rivalry like, boo, I've got to hate you, especially for the Bucs. Like I would aim it more towards the Falcons and the Panthers if I really had to. But even that, I'm off that train a little bit. However, Baker Mayfield can just turn me around on anything. What a guy to watch. He's just fun. He's got some moves, dances. I like when he blocks. Like, it's just cool to watch. It's a shame that he's on the Bucs, but I remember like one of the reasons that I ended up doing this podcast is a couple of years ago. I ended up on the 5-yard rush. I think it was on the flagship actually, or maybe just one of the side ones. But I was chatting to Murph about Mike Evans, and I was like, Mike Evans is still going to pop off because of Baker Mayfield. And Murph, fancy analyst, is there telling me, no, I don't like Baker, none of this. Anyway, boy soon turned around, didn't he? Bucs fans like, oh yeah, we're going to do all the way. So yeah, but yeah, that's me. Pete, you got any more rightsy wrongsies? What's
I've said a righty, so I'm going to say a wrongy now. I said people are going to think, whoa, the Cardinals are legit because they're just going to put up a cricket score against the Saints and the logic being that it's just because the Saints are bad. And that's why Cardinals will look good. But no, they were both bad. They still won, but they did not look good at all. Nothing seemed to work. Murray was making poor decisions. I think Harrison had a decent game. But they just didn't look. They didn't look great against this 2025 Saints team, and it makes me think: how are they going to be for the rest of the season? There was talk before that Kyler Murray was sick and he was injured, and I hope for his sake, because I think this is a make or break year for him. That he was, and it was just a bad day at the office, and he'll start to get it going. But even his rushing wasn't great, and he's normally really, really solid rusher. So to see him stumble to a win against a team definitely not trying to tank was worrying for Cardinals fans, I thought.
Ethical tanking is what we're calling it.
Yes.
I don't think we've got anything where we're talking about the Saints, so I'm going to use that as my opportunity. The New Orleans Saints looked exactly how I wanted them to look. Everyone kind of went, oh, okay, yeah, maybe. Oh, no, they lost. And at the end, I'm sure every Saints fan was, oh, no. Oh, dear, we lost. We're so gutted. And just on that number one pick train, oh, the Colts won, did they? Oh, no. Like, you know. So, yeah, the ethical tank continues. Look out for Tank Watch as the season goes on. Go on, Alex.
Does an ethical tank ensure that Spencer Rattler throws the ball 47 times? Because that's what happened on Sunday.
The rattlesnake. 47.
Bananas.
Threw the
Were
ball
some of them just on the
47
sideline
times.
practicing? That seemed like too many.
Was he juggling? That's a crazy stat.
How many completions I didn't actually see out of those 47? Three,
It
four,
was
five.
below 50%.
Oof. Yeah, there's some difficult QB stats coming off the weekend.
Yeah.
Any more before the news? Rightsies, wrongsies?
The only one I said, we've kind of briefly touched on it. I don't want to talk too much about kind of Bucks and Falcons. Good, hit them quite a bit. But I said that the Falcons were going to lose, but that's because the Bucks are really good. But I think the Falcons are going to be good. They're going to be all right, and I think they did look good. I thought Penix looked dangerous. He looked really good. There was a couple of yards left on the field. Pitts looked good as well. 7 receptions for Kyle Pitts, which is what you expected when you were drafted him ahead of Jamar Chase. So
First rounder.
Yeah, 4th and 5th. And I think they're going to be really good this season. I think it was just a tough day at the office today, and they'll be better as they go. They wouldn't be surprised if they were in that wild card contention at the end of the season.
Yeah, I text you. I can't remember what play it was, but it just said Penix is going to be a problem.
Yeah,
you can see it. I think it was the way he defied gravity, where Scott Hansen was like, "Is he Alphaba?" And he was like, put hands down, but he was basically just hovering over until he just made it to the line and just like reached over
like a flying squirrel.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was even more impressive than that because in Mission Impossible where he drops like down and is like, it was basically that they just like had some kind of winch pulley system on him. It wasn't the sky cam that you could see there. It was actually him being held up. Yeah, God knows how he managed to do that. That's like 5th-year Cam Newton stuff where your presence is so aware of what the hell's going on that I've got to keep my toes in the air. I've got to keep my knees in the air. Don't put your elbow down. I'll put a hand down and I'll be able to reach a little bit further forward. Never mind the 300-pound dude on my back. Incredible stuff. Really hated that the Falcons drafted him. We didn't have a good time right about then as a Saints fan. Love to watch him. He's kind of the reason that I turned around from hating the Falcons so much because I think Penix is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And much like I hated the Ravens for a long time, and then Lamar Jackson showed up, and I was like, oof.
Yeah.
And the perception changes completely for me. However, just off on a quick tangent, whenever the Falcons game is on TV, it's washed out, right? Like the footage all looks like somebody's just turned down the color contrast on it. The Falcons game is always the worst to watch. They're in a dome.
Have they just got really old cameras? They're like
one of them
from the 70s.
Yeah.
And there's a guy with a cape over his head.
It's a silent movie, and like, and there he is, Michael Penix Jr. He's going to take a dive after the end zone. He scored 6 points.
Cuts out midway through the 3rd quarter because you got to change the film.
That'd be such a. Do you like they have like the SpongeBob SquarePants Nickelodeon commentary and things like that? Just having the ye olde style betting guy over the top.
Somebody with a honky-tonk piano.
Yeah.
If you ever anyone who's got Disney Plus, there's a Goofy that learns the NFL like short from the 30s or something. It's got like a leather hat and everything. That's exactly what I'm expecting that to be.
Love it.
Beautiful stuff. Well, that was righties and wrongies. I wish I'd put that on the banner now. It just says rights and wrongs. I like the banners to be a bit more interesting than that. Such as segue, Zazu, sir, news from the underground. Again, I've got to get some better like transition stuff, but this the segues are here. I haven't written a lot in the news because I want to talk a lot about football. Who wants to kick us off?
I can talk about Monday Night Football. I can talk about the Caleb article. Do you want to leave that to the end, or should we go now?
Well, I mean, it's both Bearsing, so let's. Anybody who's not a Bears fan, now's the time to go for a week. Anybody who is, stick around.
I'm going to try to be impartial on the Bears-Vikings game, but I kind of see it through a blue and orange tint. Yeah, it's one of the bits kind of in the news, if we go pre-Monday Night Football, is the Tyler Dunn article that came out last week. I don't know if either of you read this. It was essentially a hit piece on Caleb. So a journalist, a well-respected journalist, and a lot of in-the-know Bears reporters have given him a lot of credibility. He talked to a lot of people behind the scenes within the Bears organization. Some people I think are still there. Some people have lost their jobs. And he's just gone really, really in a deep dive on the process to get Caleb and what went wrong last year. And it is not pretty reading. It's fascinating reading. So the likes of Ryan Poles, when he was going through the draft process, and spent all the time talking about how good Caleb was. And then anything he looked at with like Drake May or Jaden Daniels, he was just only focused on the bad things. It's like he'd made his mind up before the scouts did that. As when the scouts would say, "Oh, that was a nice play by Drake May," he wouldn't say anything and he'd wait a little bit and then be like, but look at this interception that he's thrown. And there's a bit of cronyism around him. So that didn't look great. A lot of things about Caleb struggling with the main one that came out of it was Caleb's got dyslexia, and nobody knew about it. Apart from Poles apparently knew about it, and this came out, and that might be why he's struggling with some of his kind of the playbook and things like that. That was a thing that came out. The awful, I don't know if you watched it, the horrendous, I think it was Thursday night football game against the Seahawks last year. I think the Seahawks won 6-3. That was how good that game was. And there's one point in that it wasn't picked up on the string because it was during an ad break, but Caleb went over to the side. Thomas Brown, at that point, was the interim coach, tried giving him some feedback, and Caleb just ignored him and walked away. It did not paint a good picture. Apparently, of all these people, because it's almost exclusively anonymous sources that are in it. Nobody mentioned your name, but I know Dunn has come out and said he tried to get Eberflus's input, and Eberflus just wouldn't take his call. He wasn't interested. So this hasn't come from Flus. I wouldn't be surprised if it came from the likes of Thomas Brown or Shane Waldron or some of the others that might be further down. Like the only coaching staff member that's been retained, I think, was Richard Hightower, the special teams coordinator. So that has not been the great build up to week one, and that kind of the negative press around that. So that's what came into it. Going into the actual game, it was quite an interesting match last night because there were so many injuries.
Didn't look bad. I've written that down. Actual words did not look bad. And there was the highlight reel touchdown to Rome.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that a lot. Then I stopped watching.
So if you look at the play going into the game, there was a lot of injuries, defensive injuries. So Harrison Smith was out for the Vikings, and so was it Darasaw. So they had injuries. The Bears' secondary was basically all gone. Jalen Johnson didn't play. Kyler Gordon, the slot corner, didn't play. TJ Edwards didn't play. Terrell Smith, who's one of their backup cornerbacks, is out season-ending IR. Zay Frazier, who they drafted to be one of their cornerbacks and they really like, he's not trained at all, and he's missing the entire season for personal reasons. He's completely out for the season, but nobody knows why. It's a non-football injury. Something happened post-draft, but nobody knows what it is. It's all been kept quiet. So hopefully he's okay. Doesn't sound good, whatever it is that's keeping him out. So it promised a bit of a score fest because defensive weaknesses either side of the ball. And last year, the Vikings were, if not the worst, they were one of the worst pass defenses in the league. They were really bad. Great against the run, really, really great against the run, but needed a bit more support from the secondary and from the kind of the pass defense. And it started well. Caleb scored. He completed his first 10 passes in a row. First time Bears QB's done that. I think he's done this cast since 1978.
No, you had Jay Cutler. There's no way in hell that he didn't get 10 in a row.
To start a game. I think it was 10 in a row to start a game.
Okay.
They scored on their first possession, which they didn't do once last season. So it all started good from a Bears point of view. However, when you actually watched it, and if you look at the game itself, so much was left on the field. The amount of times Ben Johnson scripted his wide receivers wide open. So often they were breaking out. And this isn't just like NFL Open. This was high school Open. They were just creating so much separation, but it was just looking short range and dumping off to Swift and all the short-term targets. It was working and it was moving, but it could have worked better and they could have scored more. He left so many yards on the field, which was frustrating. On the opposite side, McCarthy did not look good.
Yeah, he did not. I was a bit annoyed at that, to be fair.
Yeah. For 3 quarters, he didn't look good. There was a lot of pressure coming in. He was getting a lot of aggression from that kind of the blitz that was coming from the Bears defense, and he didn't have an answer to it. He couldn't find, I think by Q4, Jefferson had 2 passes for about 24 yards, or 2 receptions for 24 yards. I don't know the facts of this, but it felt right. I felt like they got more of their yards from penalties than from their actual offense for about 3 quarters, including a really, really bad pick 6 to Nashon Wright, which was the Bears' second score. And that wasn't great. The Bears' defense was all over them. They were really, really good throughout, despite all of those injuries. But when coaches call a game, they'll have a first 15 or a first 20, they call it. And that means for every game, most coaches will script the first 15 or 20 offensive plays, and they'll practice them throughout the week to get them a good start. And that's when the Bears look good. Once it got past that first 15, the offense just fell apart. They couldn't do anything. Some of that was on Caleb. I think it was one of those games where your priors were confirmed. So if you thought he's really good with his legs, he's really good at adapting and doing some off-platform throws, and he can make things happen, you saw that. You saw that run out to the side, off-platform, throw down the side that Adunze had a great catch, right, kind of a toe tap on the edge. Superb. And a couple of them plays, he led the team in rushing, he scored a rushing touchdown, he threw a passing touchdown. You saw all of those things. But then he held the ball too long, it got longer as the game went on. He was really inaccurate deep, and he missed some big plays because he wasn't getting to his reads fast enough. And that got worse and worse and worse. I think as the runs got shorter, the Bears' defense started to get more and more gassed, and the Vikings just stepped up. Flores adapted, O'Connell adapted, and that last quarter they were outstanding. They just 3 touchdowns in the final quarter. They were all over. I've got to say, just coming back quickly before I go back into the Vikings and talk about them a bit more, it wasn't all on Caleb. There was no rushing game at all. Swift was rubbish. No other running back. Roshan Johnson was out, so he missed the game. Kyle Monungai didn't get a single carry. He had 1 reception on 1 target, I think. Yeah, so it was all Swift, and he was at 3.1 yards per carry. I think his long was about 8 or 9. They couldn't run. And the defense, there was so many pre-snap penalties. At the end of the game on the line, DJ Moore cut across and the center snapped it into him for an illegal shift penalty when they've got a few seconds left to try and salvage the game and get down for a field goal. And loads of just false starts mostly from the right side. It wasn't Tooney. It wasn't Braxton Jones, who's been the bone of contention. It was Darnell Wright and Jonah Jackson. Just kept making these silly errors. And that was really frustrating, whether it was holding, whether it was that. And that was constantly putting him at 2nd and 3rd and long with no running game to rely on. So the offense became really, really one-dimensional. And he's not ready for that yet. Caleb's not ready for that yet within this complicated offense. The team isn't ready for that yet to adapt to that. So those things, that pre-snap cleanliness needs to improve, and the running game definitely needs to improve. I think
when I was watching it, and I said this to you before we started, it really felt like mid-season form for both the Vikings and the Bears. And I mean that in the most detriment way possible, because it felt like, right, this is week 8. Your season's already over. Neither of you look like you're competing for the division. And this is why. I go back to, there was like a Jets-Titans game from like 2014. And it felt very much like that. It was just 2 teams that are playing football, but, they're not really. The problem is neither of them are going to suck enough to get a good draft position, and neither of them are going to be good enough to get into the playoffs. So you're just stuck in what the Saints have been for a little while, which is just that middling kind of. It's difficult to improve. There's got to be a lot of free agent shifts. You can keep replacing your coach over and over again, but there's not a lot you can do if you keep getting those like mid-tier picks and everything. And there were flashes of like brilliance from the pair of them. I think that I'd have just watching the weekend. I think the Vikings might regret letting Darnold go and starting JJ McCarthy. I know JJ McCarthy's there to be their future and everything, but Darnold wasn't going to be super expensive. They could have stuck him in for another year while JJ McCarthy was healthy for a year, and then eased him in, much like what we'll probably see from Jackson Dart at the Giants. But instead, they've just cobbed him in there against the Bears. They're not the worst team in the world anymore. So I do kind of feel sorry for him. It did kind of feel set up, and he's kind of everything that I saw of JJ McCarthy this week looked like Caleb Williams last year. So it very much felt like it's his first year. There's going to be some mistakes. I don't think he's being maybe coached in the right way, or he's not picking it up, or he's not listening. The game hasn't slowed down for him. But it's those kind of, rookie mistakes, obviously, like there for a reason. Were there some good things? Yes. Did I care about anything that happened on that field? Not really, no.
I would say when you talk about that kind of, they're going to not be good enough, it's interesting because I think the Vikings will, and I think the Bears could be. Everything that they did, the defense looked legit. The wide receivers were getting so much separation. Everything worked, apart from a few pre-snap penalties and Caleb's processing. If Caleb speeds that up and gets the ball out, he was getting out fast, but he wasn't getting used to his reads fast. And there's two very different things there. So he was like, oh, my first read's open, boom. But getting onto that second read, that was causing the problems. And his deep ball accuracy was awful. If he can start to pull it together, that team will skyrocket very, very quickly, I think.
Is that due to the fact that he has a makeshift offensive line already? Because it's not all of them are not the first string guys on his offensive line or with Caleb Williams, because the Vikings got 30 pressures last night on all of them, which is mad compared to the fact that we had that already. Is that the reason why he's already kind of not seeing ghosts in the pocket, but it's collapsing in on him and it's not allowing him to get to that second, third read? So his immediate reaction is, I've got to go into freelance mode and kind of do what I need to do.
No, because it wasn't a makeshift line. He had his first choice line. It was potentially. He had Tooney, Dolman, Jonah Jackson, Dana Wright. They're locked in as his first 4 starters. Braxton Jones was the incumbent left tackle, but it has been said all off season, nobody has stood out at left tackle. Braxton Jones wasn't the problem yesterday, but they've said they're not 100% sure it's going to be Braxton Jones or whether it's going to be Ozzy Trapilla moving over there. Probably not. More likely someone like Kieran Amagaji or another chap whose name Theo Benedette, the Canadian left tackle. So that's the conversation that's kind of happening over there. But they weren't the problem. He was just taking too long. If you didn't see his first read, it was taking too long. It's because they were holding the play up really well, and that's why he got so many big rushing yards, because they held it up long enough for him to break, and he could outrun all of the defensive tackles from the Vikings. So it's not fair to put on them. Just the penalties was the only thing that was really their fault. Last thing I want to say on the Vikings, I thought JJ McCarthy looked really, really good at the end. Really good at the end. There was a lot of pressure on him early doors. But he warmed into it, and that final quarter, I thought he looked fantastic. I think he's just going to go from strength to strength. I thought it was going to be good when he picked him up, and the end of that game confirmed my priors.
Difficult division even, but I guess we'll see. We'll continue on with the news. Alex, you've added something to this that I've only just spotted. Oh, actually, I don't know if you did. Broncos getting a new stadium.
Yeah, it's just been announced that the Denver Broncos have selected Burnham Yard in downtown Denver as a site for a new world-class retractable roof stadium. It will be completely privately funded by ownership There'd be no new taxes on anything or out like that, and it would be slated to open for 2031.
Well, good for you, Broncos. Bless him.
True.
I don't think Mile High really needed any zhuzhing, but I guess there's going to be some good stuff coming from that. But that's quite nice. Turn the hat around for that one.
It's usually
I
just
just
you need a new stadium to build more opportunities to make money, isn't it?
yeah.
You need more concessions.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised of that one. We'll just do a couple of quick stories that I've popped in. George Kittle got the case of the CMCs and is out 3 to 5 weeks. I also saw that they put him on IR now, so he's definitely out for 4. So that's a shame for fantasy owners out there. Kittle, arguably the best tight end at the moment. I've only got him in one of my 14 leagues I've ended up in this year, so I don't mind it too much. Although it does worry me about the 49ers because I've been like riding them pretty high, and their entire offense is now just cooked, isn't it? Like everyone's hurt in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
so that is a worry. The field of
it's Ricky
genius.
Pearsall and Juwan Jennings went out injured as well, didn't he? Who did they sign?
So, yeah.
They signed somebody else in. Like I think it might even be an ex 49er that have brought back.
God only knows.
Didn't they sign Sky Moore from the Chiefs?
Yes.
Yes,
God.
they signed him, didn't they?
Well, that's definitely going to solve all of the problems. Kendrick Bourne was the guy that's brought in because of these injuries as well.
The issue, or not the issue, but the reason that Brock Purdy can do well at the 49ers is because you're stacked. Like you can't help but throw to somebody who's in the right place at the right time. Everybody around you makes you look good, and Purdy's the only one that is fit. So yeah. I guess we're just gonna have to see. I think they've still got the easy schedule, so they could tread water for a little bit. Division's kind of open for the taking. To be fair, I don't see anyone really running away with it.
No,
I mean, we're LA probably. The Rams probably look the best out of the 4. Seahawks fine. I mean, for everybody that's watching, I've put together a wall of almost won, or at some point I thought you had it in the bag. So we do have the Browns, the Jets, the Ravens, and the Seahawks. Mad that the Ravens are in with that bunch, but the Seahawks, they didn't look great, but they were definitely nearly winners. So. Yeah, I think if the Niners can just hold off losing too many of the next few games and get everybody back healthy, they can make a push for it at the end. I can see people panicking about them. They'll be 1-5, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they'll win everything off the back of it and sneak a wild card spot or something. But yeah, that's a bit different. And the last one that I put in the news, the Jags trade running back Tank Bigsby to the Eagles in exchange for a 5th and a 6th. Next season. Tank Bigsby actually looked really good for the Jags, so I'm a little surprised. The Eagles are going to use him as a kick returner.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? The Jags they ran with Etienne, who was captain fumble last year, and there was a lot of talk about Tank's going to take over, and he looked good. He didn't limited touches, but he looked good. It's an unusual choice to make because Bashal Tutin didn't get really touched at all. He barely got any touches. So I'm intrigued from a Jags point of view why they're getting rid of him but he's a good backup as well. And they're saying he's third choice in Philly, but I think he's going to be really solid for them. Their depth there is always good. They tend to always make good decisions, and it's annoying.
Could be dangerous at kick return. The Welsh kid who couldn't hack it, that went back to play rugby, he was always touted as, because the kickoff rules have changed. This could be his bread and butter. You stick Tank Bigsby back there, catching balls. I would fancy a quid on him once a week to run one all the way back. By the end of the day, you may have lost 14 pounds by the. But to be fair, if he knocks in 1 or 2 of those, you're in the money, aren't you? So watch out for Tank Bigsby return. look out for this segment in a couple of weeks where we'll just have a whole thing that Joel was right and it's Tank Bigsby is like the leading kick returner for the NFL this season.
That's the fifth trade the Eagles have made since mid-August, by the way.
Wow.
Gosh. I mean, not bad for a Super Bowl team, which I still forget they won. In my head, it's still Kansas City who won that Super Bowl. I just, even though Kansas were horrible, I just keep forgetting that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I even watched a video of the Ryan Reynolds' mate, Rob McElhenney, like shouting 2-time Super Bowl winners. And as he was saying it, I was like, God, yeah, twice. Good for you, Philly. But unlike Kansas City, which last week I was talking about saying they didn't make any moves to improve, obviously the Eagles are. And they've, like you say, they've made 5 trades. I can't see them having any picks yet. It feels a bit too all in for a team.
Well, I don't know that it necessarily is because they are the best team in the league. And if you can get some players to make you good now, just strike with that on top, particularly as KC, like you say, don't look as formidable. Go for it. The NFC is weak. Just keep hammering it. You say KC didn't, but apparently I didn't put this in the doc, but they have been in talks with the Dolphins about trading to get Tyreek back because Worthy went out with his dislocated shoulder.
Please do it. I drafted Tyreek Hill. Please. And Andy Reid, I know you're watching. You just get like Tyreek Hill back, please.
The talk is that the Finns want to wait till they want to wait till the trade deadline, keep him for as long as possible. But they're just like, no, we'll pay a bit more. Tell him now. We need him now. We've got nothing. We are desperate. We're relying on Juju Smith-Schuster and Hollywood to be our main.
Really running it back. If they end up with him and Kareem Hunt, like they're really playing the hits there, aren't they?
That's a poor choice of words, isn't it? With their history.
Oh, the algorithm's going to clip that one, isn't it? And that's everything that we've bothered to even care about in the news this week. We're not like a news show or anything like that. It's just a couple of things that kind of like pique our interest or something that we like to have a shot about. But here we are with the halftime report. In 43 minutes in, not a bad halftime. Pete, Ravens, Bills, number one.
Yes.
Talk to me.
That's number one. I'm not going to go into too much. You've probably seen a lot of this now, but there's some really interesting stats that came out of Sunday I thought you'd be quite interested in. On Sunday, Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns, and the Steelers scored 34 points. Josh Allen threw for more yards in the fourth quarter than Aaron Rodgers threw in the entire game.
That's number one.
Then QRon scored in 4 quarters of a big scoring game. He threw for 200. Josh Allen threw for 251 yards in the fourth quarter alone.
Good Lord.
He's the first player to do that and to score 2 rushing downs in a game since 1978. That's 47 years ago.
Number one.
On the opposite side of kind of that negative thing, there are 30. I saw this stat earlier on. I can't remember who it was, so I apologize. There are 30 quarterbacks to win 6 or more playoff games in history. 29 of them have been to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
yeah. So Josh Allen, he's not the problem. He's not.
Only one of them married Haley Steinfeld, though, didn't they? So
yeah, so it kind of balances out. It balances out, and he's just such a likable person. He's so likable, Josh Allen. So I really want him to go there this year. I want him to go all the way. He was so unplayable in that final quarter. The thing that I thought really weird was why didn't Harbaugh go for it on that 4th down in the last quarter? Because he knew the Ravens weren't stopping Allen for love nor money. They just weren't. So it's like, we need to score. We can't punt. But he did, and they lost, and it's entirely on him. I'm not going to blame Derek too much for the fumble because of how well he played through the rest of the game. This is the thing that I think you shared with me. Part of my take shared this. Derrick Henry is a lock Hall of Famer. He's guaranteed. He got 169 yards on Sunday at 9.4 yards per carry.
Good
He didn't
God.
actually have that many carries. He just kept housing it. But the mad stat with this is after that game, he's played 9 full seasons in the NFL. He's played 9 seasons in the NFL and he 170 yards on Monday. And he surpassed 2,000 rushing yards twice. He's still more than 300 yards shy of his rushing total from high school.
That's crazy.
That is bonkers. His high school stats, I just got to share this. He played 48 games. He rushed nearly 1,400 times, picked up over 12,000 rushing yards, and scored 153 touchdowns in 48 games. 12,000 rushing yards on 153 touchdowns.
Ugh. That's number one. I guess the last one on the Ravens Bills number one. Scorigami. First week one. We got a Scorigami. Don't give me that. I love it. 40-41.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of these. I like interesting different scores. You've never seen it before. We all witnessed one thing for the first time. It's a beautiful thing. Like, I don't understand anybody that doesn't enjoy it. It's cool.
This was one of those games, a bit like that one a few years ago, the Rams v Chiefs one in Mahomes' 50 touchdown season. This is the game that you show to people and say, this is why I love NFL. Like, the more you watch NFL, the more you appreciate defense. But when you first start getting into it, this is the type of game you go, this is why it's exciting. This is why it's awesome. Because it had everything. Rushing, throwing, excitement, shocking changes, the works. It was just electric from start to finish. And I picked it as my game to watch for this week. So that's another thing that I'm going to tick as my right, because this delivered way more than I even expected. What a game.
It was so wasted on week one, wasn't it? Where somebody just comes out and is 1-0. There's no real... both could have lost and still make the playoffs, but they just went so hard in week one. It's crazy that they did that.
Yeah.
Can I do the obnoxious podcasting? Can I do that right now? Can I do the obnoxious podcasting thing? It's okay. We'll see it again in the off season.
We will, though. We will. And same result, I think.
Ravens will go 0-1 to the Steelers in the playoff in the wild card round.
The wild card round, look at you. All right, on to the topic of the show. And the title of this one, which I'm really proud of. So the week ones and peak ones, but week is spelled like not strong week.
Nice.
Yeah, love that. I texted everybody that I knew when I came up with that one, and I had to look a quick round to see if any other podcast had done the same thing. They don't appear to have, so you've heard it here first. It's like a scorigami for your soul. Anyway, Pete, I'll give you a rest. You talked a bunch. Alex, give me something from week one, some week ones, some peak ones. What did you enjoy?
Let's start positive. Let's go peak. I really liked the Las Vegas Raiders. It hurts. Mm-hmm. It hurts me as a Chargers fan to say this.
Okay.
But the Raiders were good, man. Like, Brock Bowers is going to be tight end one this season again if that injury is not as serious as it looked forcing him out. Hopefully not. But like, not just Brock Bowers. Like, Chino was good, bro. Chino was great, and the defense stepped up. It was just an all-round really good performance from a team that is improving week by week and looks like they've kind of got it together. They're going to be a problem for some teams this season, and they will get some scalps off some big units, I believe. I think they possibly will be. We always talk about there's going to be one division in football that has 3 teams that make the playoffs. And it could be that division of the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Raiders. It is going to be a bum fight for that playoff position in that division. And I, for one, can't wait. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I think the only thing that might stop that is there's normally a whipping boy in those divisions. When you put Broncos in there as well, that's a gauntlet looking at week. Maybe not the Broncos didn't look great week one, but they should be good. They should be better than they showed. But yeah, I agree with you. The Las Vegas Seahawks looked solid.
Yeah, they sure did. I enjoyed it, and I think I was texting our mate Tom about it because he had the Patriots down to win. I was like, I just don't see it. if the NFL was scripted, I could just see that the Tom Brady owned I was going to say Seahawks then, Las Vegas Raiders with Gino, with Genty, Brock Bowers, Max Crosby. They're just built for this kind of. Of course, they won. They're not ever they don't feel convincing enough, but they feel like the diet Packers at the moment, if that's a decent enough comparison, where it's like you've got Jordan Love. Oh, we've got not quite Jordan Love. We've got Aldi middle aisle Jordan Love in Geno Smith, who's kind of like at the back end of his thing. And the same for like Kraft at tight end, arguably, obviously not as good, but still the comparisons of the two teams is just off ever so slightly. So I had every faith in Vegas winning. I still can't get used to calling them Vegas. But yeah, I absolutely agree. That was that is the one that I wish that I'd picked to watch. I picked the Giants Washington, rightfully so. I don't think I'll maybe get to that in a little bit, but yeah, Vegas, interesting. And what a terrible time to be good in your division when everyone else has decided to be good in your division. Like, you could legit see any four of them winning based on how they've done. Yeah, fine. The Broncos probably the worst looking one of the four of them, but the Broncos already have one more win than the Chiefs.
Yeah,
there is a difference there. This Broncos almost made it to that wall. There were a few games this weekend where I genuinely, this morning when putting that together, thought went the other way, and I thought the Broncos had lost. I also had the same for. I thought the Bears had beat the Vikings, even though I'd only watched that this morning. There was just somewhere it was like, oh, there's no way that's the way the result went. I think the Patriots are still going to. I think they're still going to wild card that. They'll not get past the Bills. Patriots look good. Vrabel look good. I think they're just solid back there. I think give them a couple of weeks to really cement together, and they'll be kind of dangerous. I don't know what their opponents are this week. In fact, I don't know from either of them. So we got the pick 'em up
for the
here we go. I'm just thinking week 2. Like, what's the look at for Vegas and for the Patriots, actually. Patriots Dolphins. So there you go. That brings them back up to being 1-1. And Vegas Chargers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's gonna be a good game.
The battle for the division, that, innit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone has to go 2-0. Amazing. I'll roll straight in because I've just got the one that I really want to speak about, really. It's Scatbo, innit? Like, he was barely on the field. And there is a 1-minute highlight package on TikTok that God knows how many times I've watched. I don't know how 1 minute can be 3 hours long, but just every single time he was on the field. Granted, he ended the game with like -3 yards, but that's not the point. He ran through like 3 of the Washington defenders. And honestly, I could have just seen him just making it past there. He makes me miss Muscle Hamster. I forgot his name now. We were talking about him earlier. Doug Martin. I'm just going to watch Scatbo all the time. I've already text my group chat being like, I'm buying a Scatbo jersey. Like, I just want to watch that guy play. He was blocking, which is like any coordinator knows that if you've got a running back that will block for you, you're putting him out there. So Scatbo is going to be on the field quite a lot, and he's going to be terrible for fantasy. He's just going to be the worst. He might sneak a touchdown here and there, but he's just going to be a great laugh to watch, just like hammering his way through. No neck either. He's just like proper. He looks like the juggernaut. It's cool.
He tackles with his face.
Yeah,
doesn't it? The amount of times he was just headbutting his way through defenders. It was
a goat.
It can't be sustainable.
Annoyed with a wall.
Yeah. I think I messaged you during that first quarter. I said Tyrone Tracy is making a really compelling case for Cam Scatterbo because he was rubbish. He was not.
If there's a winner, there's a loser, and Tyrone Tracy might have lost it to Scatterbo, or at least a good handful of his carries. But Scatterbo's out there blocking veterans and stuff from the defensive linemen. It's just so great to see. I love it.
Yeah, Tracy was 10 rushes for 24 yards. That's grim. Like I know that Scatto didn't get as many opportunities. I think it will improve.
2 carries for -3, caught 1 for 12, I think, or 16. So he's catching them. Is what the toss out to the right is when he like steamrolled through 3 Washington players who all looked dumbfounded, like they didn't know what had hit him. It's just so much fun. So yeah, he's my peak of the week. That one for me, Scatbo. Keep an eye on him. Pete, what you got? You got a peak one, a week one?
Yeah, I had a couple on here. I want to talk about Egbuka and I want to talk about Keon Coleman. And I'm going to say Keon Coleman because we talked tons about the Bucks at the beginning. I appreciate we just talked the Bills, but not in depth. Coleman made some really, he got targeted so much, 11 targets on there. They've said all offseason we want him to be our one, and they targeted him like he was, and he made some really big catches. If you watch that game through, that Ravens-Bills game, the Bills couldn't get anything going. For that first half, couldn't get anything going. There's a couple of times when he made some really electric stretch passes, kind of thinking out to the left side of the field, like a really tight window pass there, just to keep the drive alive and just to keep it going and to start build some momentum for the Bills. And he was really, really important to that. And there are no player, I can't think of the last player that I really, really, really wanted to be good because he's just so likable. He is probably the most likable player since Jamal Williams, because and his love for Pokemon. He's just such a nice guy, and he showed up today. It took a while to get going, but he really, really did. And I think Josh Allen's going to keep leaning on him. He's just going to keep leaning on him week on week on week. It's not an amazing receiving core, but he's going to be that star. And I think we're going to see a real breakout season for him.
Give me a little shout on Egbuka as well, because you teased it, but I was watching him, and I don't know if I've not been listening, but I've only really heard you speak about him. And the second he caught that touchdown pass, I was like, "Oh, Pete was right."
Yeah, it kind of slipped him. Like obviously, he was a first-round pick for the Bucks. But immediately go in and say, well, it's actually a really crowded receiving room. You've got Mike Evans, you've got Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, and then Egbuka. But 2 of them are gone. Godwin's injury was horrific. Hopefully he's going to come back this season. I don't know he's going to be the player that he ever was. Evans is aging out, and McMillan's on IR as well. So the opportunities came early, and he just showed exactly what he'd seen all the way through. He's exciting to watch. He's got good hands. He's fast. He's strong. He can do absolutely everything. He's going to out target Mike Evans this season. I think he's just going to grow in this time when he's got that window. Because you saw it last year when Mayfield knew that Godwin was his guy. He targeted and targeted and targeted him. There was no way if Godwin stayed the full season, Evans was going to hit his 1,000 yards. Because they were forcing to make it happen at the end of the season. Because Godwin had missed a few weeks and he'd managed to catch up. So I think Egbuka is going to be the wide receiver one. He might not get all the touchdowns, but in terms of targets and receptions, I think he's going to lead that team. He's electric, absolutely electric. And he will be the wide receiver one out of this class. I firmly believe that.
Baker had been bigging him up all off season as well. Like if you listen to anything that Baker had said, it was that we drafted really well. We're really excited about this kid. This kid he's legit. He is the one that we want, and we all got to see why.
Yeah,
love every team in the NFC South getting better. Just love that. Absolutely, just absolutely love it.
It helps you get Archie or whoever's not Archie when he doesn't declare.
Yeah, no, I watched the Texas highlights. Yeah, not sure I'm on for the tank, but we'll see how that goes. Alex, what we've had a peak one. Do you want? Are you still peak, or you got a week? What?
We'll carry on the players one. I'll save the weakness for the last because golly gosh, I'm really annoyed at a group of human beings this week. Some honourable mentions and stuff like that we've already kind of covered. We covered Daniel Jones really earlier on, and how amazing he was for the Colts. This is just a couple of quick ones. Even in a terrible Browns team, Cedric Tillman looks good. Like, he looks really good. 5 receptions, 52 yards. His touchdown was amazing. Flacco absolutely put it on a plate for him, and he really, really made a play. He looked good last season as well before he got an injury to end the season, which obviously cut it short, but he looks really good. The other one that I really want to big up is Tyler Warren.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's going to be phenomenal this season and will be the leading the receiver in that core unit that's there.
Yeah.
So the hype's real on Tyler Warren, then, is it?
Yeah, like legitimately, the hype is real. He was everywhere, and it wasn't just in terms of receiving and doing that lot. Like, he's downfield blocking, and he's blocking like on the line and doing everything a tight end should do in 2025. He was absolutely incredible.
Love it, love that. I'll pop it now. I've got a peak one surrounded by weak ones in week one, and it would be remiss if we didn't talk about him because it feels like such a long time ago. But Dak Prescott, boy, did he look good! Like, he genuinely came out like swinging, and there is no way in hell the Dallas Cowboys should have lost that game because of the weak ones, which are his receivers. So I'm not a big stats guy. I'm more vibes than anything, but I did have a look at this one because I needed to make sure that I checked it out. So Dak was 21 for 34 with 188 yards. Fine. That's a very Sam Darnold stat line to have. However, CeeDee Lamb only caught 7 of his 13. He was just over 50%. If those other 6 had been caught, that's it. That's game. That's Dallas. And we're all talking about how they're going to the Super Bowl and the Eagles aren't going to repeat. Go, Alex. No, I thought you had your hand up. There he goes.
Oh,
so yeah.
You watched it, and there was a couple of egregious drops. I mean, there was one really bad one from CeeDee Lamb, one that was difficult, but he should have made. But there was also that big Tyler. It was the Ferguson. The tight end, the 60, and I'm really annoyed because I had him in my team. The 60-yard bomb hit him. It was just a really bad drop in the end zone for that touchdown, because that changes the whole complexion of the game. Because you're right, Dak looked fantastic. I think he's going to lead the league in passing yards this year because he's going to need to.
He's going to have to try and catch up, though. And these guys are going to have to catch him. But like in a game where is it Williams there running back? He ran a couple in.
He looked good, and he was possibly the worst starting running back in the league last year, and he looked really good yesterday. I was pleasantly surprised. He looked like what we thought before he got injured at the Broncos.
Yeah.
So that's a positive for them, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I think the Cowboys have got the Giants, have they, this week? So they've got the opportunity to just absolutely like pull one back, and then you're all of a sudden you're 1-1, and then you're off to the races. So that was my kind of like peaks/weeks. Pete Melia, week 1, hit me.
There's a couple of choices again I had here. The obvious one to me, and we've talked about them, so I'm going to skip past that. So I'm going to focus on Bo Nix. Bo Nix was not what was advertised.
Pedestrian is how I would describe it.
We were so hyped for Bo Nix going into this season. He looks good. He's got good legs. He's got good passing. He's got a fantastic coach. He's got a decent wide receiver. One, I mean, Colton Sutton is good. He's a bit older, but he's a really, really good wide receiver, I think. And the surrounding cast of the likes of Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, everybody else, I don't know whether they were good or he made them look good at the back end of last year, but it worked. And you thought there's an obvious year to leap here. And then he looked bobbins. J.K. Bobbins this week. He was not good at all. And it really surprised me at how poor he looked. More so that they won. I don't understand how they won when he played like that. I thought, particularly, if you look at that game, when you talk about NFL, you go, it's a QB battle. The QBs determine who's good or not on a team. And if your QB plays well, you win. If your QB plays poorly, you lose. If both QBs play well, it might be a bit of a toss-up, like in Buffalo. But I thought Cam Ward played much better than Bo Nix, and then they lost by 2 scores. Well, 8 points, so I suppose 1 score. But I just don't. That baffles me that they managed to scrape away with a win there, because their defense is excellent, but he did them no favors.
Yeah, I was disappointed. You know, when like your parent says to you, like, "I'm not bad, like you won."
Yeah.
I am, however, disappointed because you were supposed to be the second coming. You're the corn-fed white boy. You're the pocket passer. You're the prototype of what we expect in Mile High Stadium. You've got Sean Payton behind you. He's basically the second coming of Drew Brees. All of this stuff, and is it, you know, one of those things where people buy into the off-season hype? They just needed to find a team with a narrative, or do we think that they struggle? Like, I think they're still squeaking out wins, but really annoying, like Chelsea 1-0 park the bus, and they're against the Colts. So we're going to find out whether or not the Colts are any good.
Yeah.
Or if Denver are, basically. I think the winner of those two will really change my mind either way. Either I'll be proven right, Denver are going to the Super Bowl, well, not the Super Bowl, but the playoffs, or I'll be super proven wrong and the Colts are really, I want to say dark horse, but that feels a bit too on the nose.
It feels like Broncos when they won the Super Bowl 2016, was it? When they beat the Panthers, when Peyton Manning was awful and then got injured, and it was Brock. And they got there on the strength of Von Miller and that defense, and that carried them to the Super Bowl. And I feel like they could do that. Bo Nix won't play this bad again. I don't think he will. I think it was just a bad day at the office. But their defense is so good that they're always going to be in games. They're hard to score against, so they'll always have a chance.
Again, tough division. Everyone's like stepping up, so they've still got to go against everyone in their division, who are all at this point are going to have a couple of games under their belts. Some of them, in this case, at least a few wins. It's going to be tough for Denver. If they've started with a really solid win there, people would be like, absolutely. But yeah, Bo Nix could be the only worry. He looked a bit more rookie-like than what I was expecting him to.
Yeah, people saw good and expected great from year one.
Yeah. I want to jump ahead of Alex because I want to end this segment on Alex's one, because I think that's going to be much more fun. So my week one is the Ravens, and I've written here: trying hard doesn't matter. 0-1 is all the history books will show. Fine. Yeah, it's very much all of that for a drop of blood. You know, when Tony Stark just absolutely goes ham on Thanos and did nothing but a scratch. What's going to happen is, come to the end of the season, something's going to come down to, who's won the head-to-head? And that's it. I'm sorry, Ravens, but you were supposed to come out and dominate. And you could have. And I've put a couple of bits in there. Obviously, the Derrick Henry fumble. It's not like Derrick Henry, but that's why I've put it there. Like, I'll give anyone a pass on a lot of things, but Derrick Henry, you know better than this. And the other opportunity, obviously, which I'll not mention because that might lead into Alex, is week one. Alex, do it.
Kickers have got to get a grip, man.
He's right.
They've got to get a grip. In a week, you see Chris Boswell drill a 60-yarder to put the Steelers up, and then the Jets need to go down the field and win the game. And obviously, they couldn't do it because Jalen Ramsey pulls one out and absolutely destroys Garrett Wilson. Like, brilliant tackle from Jalen Ramsey. And that's why you sign a guy like that, even though he's a problem and all of that lot. But kickers need to get a grip. Boswell making 60-yarders. 60-yarders now in 2025 are kind of really makeable. You can make them now. You can if you're a good kicker. And all of these kickers that I'm going to name are good kickers. So come on, get it together. Younghoe Koo, he missed the winner. Twice, I think he missed it. When they iced him, he didn't make it. And then he missed it again. So come on, do it. Tyler Loop missed the extra point that in the Ravens game. Obviously, that then changes everything because the Bills would need to go for a 2-point conversion. Most likely, they would probably get it because that Ravens defense folded like a poor foldable chair in that fourth quarter. Jake Moody missing 2 field goals. Now, obviously, that didn't have any effect because the San Francisco 49ers still won. And you heard Shanahan and everybody be like, yeah, no, it's fine. He's okay. We've got him. We've got around the corner. And then Carlson for the Raiders as well also missed a field goal. Like, these things matter, guys. All of these ones are under 50 yards. Come on, get it together. You are simply better than this, especially Young Wei Koo. Like, I think he's one of the top 5 kickers in the league, and he has really, really, really good kicking length and ability. But just come on, man. Be better, please.
One job, kickers. Kick it.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, your leg saves teams' seasons. If you keep doing this, you are going to make your teams irrelevant by the end of the season. And it's not
so easy to cut as well, aren't they? Like, you see it all the time where teams are like, you've missed 3, get out. There are 100 kickers behind you.
The Niners have just cut Jake Moody, who was a 3rd-round pick. They've just cut him today. And you saw it last night as well. And it's not even in your list. Last night, Will Rijkaard for the Vikings tied the record for the longest ever field goal at Soldier Field with a 59-yarder, whereas Cairo Santos missed one from 50 and then had the kickoff at the end of the game, and he needed to get it out of bounds, kick it out of the end zone, so we'd get an extra play before the 2-minute warning, and he couldn't get it past the end zone. So his leg just wasn't strong enough. And he's 5th all-time Bears point scorer. It's just, it was not a good week for kickers.
Sack him.
Yeah.
Sack them all. Sack them all. Don't care. Meanwhile, you've got, who's it the Lions? Is the Lions of those? No, it's gone from me. But yeah, he's still putting up points.
And that was that Jags teenager that put up the 70-yarder or something ridiculous in preseason. He kicked the longest one ever in preseason, I think it was. Jake Bates is the Lions kicker.
There he is. Yeah, he's still been quite solid. We're starting to get to the point in the NFL where there's going to be a kicker problem, much like the NBA has a 3-point shooter problem, where anyone can throw a 3 from wherever they want to. I feel like if you're at 4th down and you're 70 yards out, kickers are going to start making those without even thinking. So it'll be interesting to see how they revise that. Like, you're not allowed to kick it unless you're even further away.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that, but I've just listed you 4 instances where it's cost people games or cost people extra points and doing that. The talent is there 100%, and I agree with you completely. But what you're taking out of it is the human emotion and the fact that they are still capable of being human Tottenham Hotspurs and just bottling everything.
Yeah. All it takes is a special teams to just go, Daryl, and they fluff it. I don't know why more teams don't do that.
God, would you look at how many different sports do we manage to reference in a conversation about kickers there? Well done, everyone.
Yeah,
this is
like I wasn't expecting a Darryl Strawberry ref today.
Yeah. Who knew? Anyway, that's going to bring us to the final 2-minute drill. We're going to talk a little bit about the pods, pick 'em and flick 'em. We're going to talk about our sleeps and our locks. But before we do that, I just want to give a shout to a few people. The people at the top of the pick 'em and flick 'em at the moment. Danny. It says here plug Discord. So Danny's our Discord guy / moderator / dude that kind of gets a lot of stuff together. He is at the top with 13-3 alongside Stevie 31 and S Black 74, who've managed to all go 13-3. I went a respectful 11-5. Pete, I believe that you're there with me. Alex, I had to keep scrolling, mate. Honestly, there was a show more option that I wasn't expecting to be there. I genuinely thought, did Alex forget to sign up for it because I couldn't see you in the list? 8-8, mate. You were taking some swings.
Yeah, we've just had a conversation about like different sports and do that lot. I'm going to quote Babe Ruth now. So like I swing big with everything I've got. I hit big or I miss big. I like to live as big as I can. That is a classic Babe Ruth quote from baseball. And that completes week one. Yeah, that was week one. Were there. I didn't even go as big as I wanted to, and if I'd gone bigger, then like I probably would have ended up with probably 9 or 10 because I didn't even pick the Chargers. I picked the I wimped out and I picked the Chiefs.
Most people went Chiefs, to be fair. Pete, you did go home and pick, didn't you? You went Chargers there. God bless you for doing that. Second I saw that, I was like, oof, like that was a move. I hate myself picking the Chiefs there, but well played.
The Chiefs have started slow. Even when they've got wins, I think they've started slow for the last few seasons. So I was banking on that. And yeah, long may it continue.
Biggest like upset that you picked off the top of your head, do you know? I think mine is Vegas to beat New England. Everyone else is kind of like pretty close.
Yeah, mine was probably Chargers, to be honest.
Yeah, not a lot of people went that way.
Yeah, I think that was the one in terms of the minorities. That was my biggest.
So to bring us home, we're all going to pick either one or two. Take a pick, either like some sleepers that you've got your eye on, lock of the week, anything like that. I'm going to continue the Lions' misery, and we haven't spoke about the Bears enough today. I just saw enough in the Bears and not enough in the Lions to go the other way on that one. So I've backed the Chicago Bears to, quote, continue the suffering of the Lions. People are going to be calling for Dan Campbell's head on a stick because they'll have lost to the Bears in that one. Alex, big swings or not so much? Is there anything that you're looking at?
I'm going to say the Colts are going to beat the Broncos.
Oh,
Okay.
Don't like it. I'm not a Broncos fan. I'm just backing him. I bought a hat. And Pete, go on. You've not written yours down, so I'm quite interested.
I think the Raiders are going to beat the Chargers. All the teams have their saying, whether it's Who Dat or Go Pack Go or Skull. For Chargers, it's just Chargers going to charge. They'll beat the Chiefs and then they'll lose to the Raiders. It's the most Chargers things I can possibly expect. I can see the Raiders winning this in a really agonizingly close end game.
Yeah, it's like
annoyingly that's the game
like
I'd like to go on.
It's like Harbaugh gives Justin Herbert the ball and like allows him to actually throw for one game, and then goes, "No, Justin, that's it for the season. We're now just going to run it. You're not allowed to throw it anymore. We're just going to run the ball. Like these guys are not. We're not playing with this. These guys are just running today. Amari Hampton's going to get 90 touches. Like we're going to give Najee Harris like the rest of them. Everything else is going to be fine." Just you worry your pretty little face. You're not running the ball. You're not doing anything like that. You just calm down. And then we end up losing 20-13, and everyone's like, "What are we doing here?"
Chargers Raiders is the game that I would most like to watch this week. I don't like that it's on Monday night, so I won't be able to watch it live. I'll have to do the game before the following day. But the one that I am probably just going to watch it's going to be Giants Dallas. Go watch Scabo. I reckon Dallas have got a shot at looking good there. Anyone got a game of the week before we wrap it up?
There's a few really good matches. Eagles Chiefs is obvious, but actually, I think Packers v Washington. I think is going to be actually a fascinating game. Let's see how that vaunted Packers D-line goes up against the likes of Jaden Daniels, who can go off script and can move and can pose all sorts of different headaches. I think that is going to be a really, really exciting game. And I don't know. I'm really struggling to know how to call that.
I really like the Seahawks, the Steelers as well. I really like that one there because obviously which Aaron Rodgers are we going to get? He looked really good against the Jets, but is it just because it was the Jets? Or is it because he's actually going to be really good this season? DK Metcalf was mint and rolling back the years. Jalen Ramsey and the rest of that defense was great. And then obviously Sam Darnold was actually pretty good for the Seahawks as well. So that'd be an interesting one as well.
DK revenge game. Love a revenge game. On that, just briefly, I guess, the Aaron Rodgers farewell tour. Apparently, if this is it for him, he does go through a lot of historical kind of stomping grounds and stuff. So it'll be interesting to watch him go on a tear and win the Super Bowl.
Did you see his quote? Okay, just real quick. Did you see his quote about the Jets? And he said, "Who do you most want to beat? Were you really, really happy to beat the Jets?" And he said, "I most wanted to beat every single person involved with the Jets. Not that he's a bitter, miserable old coot."
Boo Aaron Rodgers. That's what I want to end on. Boo Aaron Rodgers. Hey guys, we didn't mention Shedeur Sanders.